So how long were you doing this for before you got caught?
About 2 years. 2 years. I mean, like I
solid
said,
run.
it was off and on since I was 19.
But then after you lost your job,
yeah,
sounds like it was about a 2-year run before you got caught.
Yeah, just under 2 years, but pretty close to it.
So how'd that situation play out where you got caught up?
Well, so like I said, in Knoxville, like all the drug dealers are from out of town, most of them. So, and like all the drug users I knew, like I'd always tell them like, get your drug dealer and we'll split the profit or whatever. So like I was just ripping off all sorts of dealers throughout Knoxville, pretty much. Not for like huge amounts, but like I'd get them for like an 8-ball or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but if once it worked on them, you do it again and again and again until
Adds up pretty quick.
Yeah. So, this one guy, like, basically I was ripping him off through this girl I knew. Like, she was the one actually doing the transaction with him. And we were getting him like every day for probably a month, right? And then one day, you know, I like pull in the driveway and he's there with her, like yelling at her. So I like, you know, hear it and basically like I just hear him saying like, I'm not even mad. I just want to like know where you got these from. And then she like, you know, didn't tell him whatever. She just like denied it. So basically I got his number from her and just called him and basically was like, you know, I'm the guy, you know, you wanted to meet or whatever. And at first he was acting kind of like pissed or whatever, like, oh, you owe me money or whatever. But, you know, I basically told him like, you know, like I think I did give him like $1,000 in counterfeit money for free to like whatever, soften the blow or whatever. But basically we just started dealing with each other. Like he'd buy counterfeit money from me when he went up to Cleveland to re-up. So, and I guess he found out that the bills were fake because like he said he had a bunch in his pocket and it was raining. So when they got wet, that the eyeshadow came off, you know, the color shifting ink that I made. Because, like, I basically painted on the color shifting ink last. Because if you spray the matte lacquer over that, it, like, fucks with the optics of it. You know what I mean? Because you're spraying a flat clear coat over a sparkly metallic, you know?
Yeah.
So, basically, that was the last step, was painting on the color shifting ink. So, when it got wet, that color shifting ink came off. So anyway, he found out they were fake. We started doing business together. And you know, we did business together for like probably a year. It's so much to the point to where we ended up renting a house together. And he was like trapping out of it. And I had like the back half of the house, like printing, and I had like,
oh shit, that's quite the household.
Yeah, it was, and I didn't really like it because he had so much traffic, and like, you know, it was like what I'm doing. It's like, you know, but when I was in Knoxville, it was basically just like a spot to where I could go, you know, without like, so I didn't have to rent hotel rooms in Knoxville, but I also didn't have to like rent a full-time house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Convenient.
Yeah. Well. But yeah, so we were staying at this house, and every now and then I'd go up to Cleveland with him. He'd go up to Cleveland to pick up like a brick of heroin, but I wanted to break bills and travel, so we'd just go up there together. So this one time, I was supposed to go up to Cleveland with him, and it was like a Friday. We were supposed to leave that evening, and I got pulled over and arrested on like a traffic, like a fucking dumb warrant. Like it's like I didn't pay a ticket or didn't show up to court for something dumb. So like I went to jail and like bonded right out, because it was just some petty shit. But by the time I get out, I guess he didn't like want to wait for me or whatever, so he just went to Cleveland without me. So I go back to the house, and this chick that he had, like his little runner chick, basically, well, this was like, yeah, it was like a day or two later, but like his girl that he was having serve as dope while he was in Cleveland basically said, like, E told me not to tell you, but he got arrested up in Cleveland. So, obviously, if he, since he told her not to tell anybody, it's like...
That can't be good.
Yeah, that's a red flag, for sure. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to get arrested, but why keep it a secret unless you're cooperating?
Yeah, if anything, he should want you to know he got arrested.
Exactly. So, like, when she said that, that freaked me out. So, obviously, I was like, okay, like, and I got all the equipment and left and got a hotel room in Knoxville. And then, like, a day or two later, he calls me, and I shouldn't have even answered the phone, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. But looking back on it, it's like, at the time, it's like you get these, like, gut, always follow your gut, for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Gut's usually right.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And, like, because looking back on it, it's like I shouldn't have even answered the phone. But at the time, it was like, well, we were doing a lot of business for, like, a year straight, like, just because she said this one little thing. Like, I don't know. It just, whatever. I answered the phone. I just figured I wouldn't talk about anything illegal or deny everything, whatever. And that's pretty much what I did. Like, we never talked over the phone, so he knew not to talk on the phone. But then after our conversation, like, didn't really go anywhere. He was like, let's meet up. And I was like, no, I'm out of town. Like, I kind of just lied to him. And then he started asking me to get him heroin, which was weird because it's like, you're the fucking heroin dealer.
Yeah,
and like,
your thing, dude.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when he asked that, I was like, why are you asking me for that? Like, over the phone nonetheless. And he asked me to get him 700 grams of heroin. It's like, you know what I mean?
It's a specific quantity.
Yeah. And I don't know. It was just crazy. So I basically, when he asked that for that, I was like, dude, like, you're out of your mind. Like, I don't sell drugs. Why would you ask me that? Why would you ask me that over the phone? Like, whatever.
So many red flags.
Yeah. So, but then he even, like, admitted, he was like, yeah, I know you're not a dealer or whatever, but he's like, I know you know a lot of dealers, so I figured you could help me out or whatever. And I was like, well, no, like, I'm not going to help you out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. So I hung up the phone. But, after the fact, I was thinking, like, now I'm pretty sure he's cooperating. And he just tried to set me up for, a drug conspiracy.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, like, it went pretty well because, like, I just denied it and said I don't sell drugs. He acknowledged that I don't sell drugs. You know what I mean? So it was
looking
like
good for you on paper.
Well, I was thinking, like, okay, like, now I'm just not gonna answer his calls anymore. Like, I'm done. And I figured that phone conversation didn't give anybody any evidence or anything. So, like, I thought it was all good. But I guess either way, they pinged my location through the phone call or whatever. So they knew, the Secret Service. And a lot of this information I found out after the fact, like in Discovery and stuff.
Yeah, they're not just telling you, like, the Secret Service was watching you.
Yeah. So, like, at the time, I didn't know all this. But, so I guess what happened was he had a stolen car. He, like, bought a car from some junkie that, like, client of his or whatever. And so when he was going to Cleveland, he got pulled over because the car was reported stolen. And when they pulled him over, they found, like, this Louis Vuitton bag full of money, and half of it was fake and, half of it was real. And basically, like, so the Cleveland Secret Service basically made a deal with him, like, tell us where you got this counterfeit money and, we'll let you go. So like, I've actually released his, like, the interrogation tapes on my TikTok. So you can, like, you can listen to him being interrogated and all that. And, like, because I don't really give a fuck. Fuck him.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, I got no,
We'll link those in the comment section, everybody.
Yeah.
So, comments. Link the interrogation tapes.
Oh, yeah. So it's like, he admitted to his own heroin conspiracy, though, in the process, because they basically said, like, if you're going to cooperate with us on this counterfeiting thing, like, we have to know you're being honest and truthful about everything. So, like, they basically just talked him into admitting to, trafficking heroin, sending the money to his mom so she can buy properties throughout Cleveland, and, like, just all this,
He said everything.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
I mean, really, counterfeiting, but, like, he only got caught with, like, possession of $5,000 in counterfeit bills, which, like, isn't really shit compared to heroin trafficking, money laundering, wire fraud.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't
yeah,
seem like
it's
much.
like, yeah. So he admitted to a lot worse than what he would have been looking at. But either way, they cut a deal with him to bring him down to Knoxville to set me up. But what he obviously didn't know was that the Eastern District of Tennessee Secret Service could still charge him. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so it's like he
okay.
made a deal with Cleveland, but it's like
only applies to that jurisdiction.
Exactly.
He's open game. And,
the conspiracy was taking place in Knoxville.
Yeah.
So it's like they fucked him because they made a deal with him thinking he was off scot-free, and then they brought him down here, and he still got, he got shit co-defendant on my conspiracy case. But so yeah, basically, like, after that phone conversation, I'm in this hotel room. It's in the morning. My wife and this chick that was staying with us, they woke up and left to go shopping. So I was just starting to print, in the hotel room. I'm just, fucking normal morning. It was like 10 a.m. starting to print. They leave. Like 5 minutes later, I hear a knock on the door. So I assumed it was like my wife coming back for something.
Forgot something.
Yeah. But I looked through the peephole and it was just blacked out. Like there was, you know what I mean? So that was like, I at first I thought maybe like it was my wife fucking with me or something. But then it was like, she wouldn't do that. Like, you know what I mean? Under the circumstances.
That's a little much.
So I like peek out the window and don't see anything. And then, like, I just figure I'm just going to, ignore it, whatever. But they keep knocking, and, and then it's like I hear this dude's voice being like, yo, Jay, open up. Jay, open the door. And I was like, that sketched me out. So I look back through the window, and like, they were trying to hide themselves, but, like, on the corner of the window, I saw, like, the shoulder of a cop, like a sheriff's, patch. So, when I saw that, it was like, oh, fuck. Like, I already...
Shit's getting real.
Yeah, I knew. But it's like, I'm in a hotel room. It's like, there's no back door. There's no back window or anything. So it was just, like, I basically, like... And I literally had money coming off the printer, like, as this was happening. So it was like, fuck. Like, what do you do? Like, I took the money that I had... printed and threw it in the toilet and flushed the toilet, and tried to throw more in there and flush the toilet, but it was like the toilet was fucked up or something. It didn't work. Like I'm pretty sure they shut the water off because they thought I had like kilos of drugs or something. So yeah, and like at that point, I mean, you can't. I couldn't get rid of a computer and printer and shit. So like
can't flush that.
Yeah. So and then at this point they start just kicking in the door. Which, caused a fucking panic attack, you know what I mean? Really. So, yeah, I just sat on the bed and waited for, like, I lit up a cigarette and just...
just smoked your last cigarette?
Yeah, man, just waited for them to kick the door in. And, yeah, they came in and arrested me.
They kicked the door in, all right.
Yeah.
So, when you're getting arrested, how's that feel? What's going through your head in that moment?
Oh, man. It was a strange feeling because I remember it's like I definitely had a sense of relief, like just like because it was a very stressful time, you know what I mean? Like super paranoid all the time. And yeah, it was like there was definitely fun times, doing the counterfeiting thing, but it was also like really just, I don't know, stressful. And there was definitely a sense of relief because I knew it was inevitable, basically. I knew it as long as I kept printing, like, you know, it's inevitable.
You're going to jail eventually.
Yeah, you're going to get caught. Yeah, so there was like a sense of relief, but also it was like, fuck, I'm hooked on heroin and gonna wake up tomorrow morning in a holding cell,
feel
dope
like
sick.
dog shit. Yeah.
So it was, you know, but it's like there's nothing you can do. So it's just, it is what it is, you know.
God, I can't imagine. How awful is it waking up dope sick in jail? What's that feel like?
It's not fun. It's definitely not fun. You can't even, I couldn't even describe, really. It's like, and I think most people who have experienced that know it's like, it's hard to really, you know, describe to people who haven't experienced it.
Yeah, I've never
Fucking
experienced
sucks.
opiate withdrawal, but it seems brutal.
Yeah.
When I went to rehab when I was younger, a lot of my roommates were dope sick, and that was tough to watch.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah, it's miserable, especially the first, you know, 5-6 days. It's just,
Yep.
you know.
It's a week of torture, it seems like.
And what sucks, like, the most about it being in jail is, like, you know, your body speeds back up when you detox, right? So, like, you get the diarrhea and throwing up and all that shit, and, like, you're in a cell with 2 other dudes.
Yeah, you're in fucking jail.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, it's just miserable. That's something it fucking sucks.
So what officially were you charged with when you got arrested?
So at first it was like the Secret Service were there when my arresting officer was Special Agent Greg Watson with the Secret Service. But
That's got to be terrifying.
yeah, well, it was like, yeah, when they kicked the door in and, dude, like 25 dudes run in, you know, guns drawn with the patches and the Secret Service, you know, it was like, oh, fuck, like,
Shit.
it's not just the cops. It's like, this is multiple different agencies, you know what I mean?
Federal crime.
Yeah. But originally my charge was just a state charge of criminal simulation over $60,000. Which criminal simulation's just like a generic term for, like, it's a generic charge for, like, fraud, basically.
Okay.
It's like in the state, that's like their broad, you know, whatever charge. But I knew the feds were gonna pick it up. So, like, yeah, basically I just sat in jail under this state charge, criminal simulation. And it was probably like a month or 2 went by before the feds picked up the case. Like, I basically went to a court date, and my lawyer told me, like, oh, they're gonna drop your charges and then walk you across the street to the Marshall Building and and serve you an indictment federally. So when that happened, you know, just like the lawyer said, they dropped the charges, walk across the street, they served me an indictment. And then from there, the federal indictment was, I think it was originally 5 counts. It was like conspiracy to counterfeit U.S. obligations, like manufacture and sale of counterfeit U.S. obligations, and then some different counts of, like, uttering and passing or whatever. But
And a federal case is a whole different ball game too. That's very different than going to court on a state level kind of thing. How do you deal, like, how do you fight that case?
Well, you pretty much don't, really. I mean, you know, most people don't fight a Fed case, unless, like, you know, if you're looking at, like, life, you know, like fucking P. Diddy might try to fight it because
he doesn't really have a choice.
Yeah, he's got so much money but it's like, I mean, everybody knows that in the feds, it's like, if they serve you an indictment, it's like, it's because they have their case.
They're ready to go.
Yeah, so it's like, if you try to fight it, and especially in the feds, right? Like, there's, you know, sentencing guidelines. So you pretty much know how much time you're looking at. It's not like the state where it's like they cut deals with you and all this. So it's like going into a Fed case, it's like you know exactly what you're looking at. But if you go to trial, you're getting the max. You're getting the max of that range. So it's like basically you plead guilty and you're looking at 4 years. But if you go to trial, you're looking at 25. You know what I mean? So it's like really going to trial in a Fed case is dumb. You know what I mean?
Sounds like suicide almost.
Yeah, it's
for
like
most people.
I mean, you really shouldn't ever do it unless it's like you know, are looking at life. If you plead guilty, you know, then it's like whatever, you know. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend taking the case to trial in the feds.
While you're dealing with this Fed case, are you out on bond? Are you in custody? How's that work?
They did let me out on pretrial release.
Okay.
So yeah, basically, like, what was it? So like, after the state dropped their charges and the feds picked it up, I sat in jail for another like month or so, and then they let me out on pretrial. And then like while I was out on pretrial, like right after COVID hit, so all the courts were shut down for a long time. So I was out on pretrial release for like a year and a half.
Oh, just chilling.
Yeah.
Nice.
But, well, I mean, it kind of, but, like, they made me go to, like, a halfway house and all this. So, like, it still kind of sucked.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Not chilling.
But, yeah, like, so by the time I was actually sentenced and stuff, you know, it was, like, a year and a half after I'd been arrested. So,
damn.
But, like, during that time, they offered me a deal. And basically said, like, if you plead guilty today, we won't charge your wife with anything.
Nice.
We'll keep the, like, official amount and restitution amount under $100,000, which, like, avoids enhancements and stuff. If I would just plead guilty and, like, basically explain to them how I made the bills and make a training video for future Secret Service agents. Yeah, kind of like going over the process of how I made them and everything.
Are you able to like talk about that video, like what it was like at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
Classified information?
No. I mean, I didn't even know I was. I mean, they brought it up to me. They asked if I was willing to do it, and I was like, yeah, I guess so. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna give me time off my,
fuck yeah,
you know, I don't have to fucking snitch on anybody, and I get time off just for making a video. Like, fuck yeah. But then one day I go into my lawyer's office, and like basically she was like, all right, we got to go to the Secret Service headquarters. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I thought I was just meeting my lawyer. And then I walk into this room and, like, there's, like, lights and cameras and shit. So I was like, oh, you know what I mean? So it was kind of, and, like, all the evidence from the hotel room was, like, on this big table.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so they had everything I needed to make the bills because I was making them in the hotel room when they arrested me.
You just did a step-by-step recreation?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's like, crazy.
Explained, like they asked me some questions first, like how I was able to figure out how to make the blue strip. And I explained to them the Google Patents thing and this and that. And they didn't know what kind of paper I was using, so they asked about that, which I thought, you know, because I was using Bible paper. So, like, I thought they knew that. That's why I was sketched out about, like, ordering Bible paper in bulk off the internet because I figured, like, they have to know what kind of paper I was using and, like, you know. But I guess they didn't know, so.
They had no clue?
Yeah, no.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, yeah. Which I always thought, like, that the Secret Service has these, like, labs. When they get counterfeit money, they, like, you know like everything about it. Yeah. Yep. But I guess not, or I don't know. But they didn't know what kind of paper I was using, so. But, yeah, they asked some questions, and then I basically made a couple counterfeit bills for them and went, like, you know, step by step, explain the process and all that.
That's crazy to think. They're probably still watching your video today.
Yeah, they said that they were using the video to train agents going forward. So.
That's fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
That's honest. Wow, you're a part of Secret Service training. That's fucking sick. Is there any way that you'd ever get like a copy of that video?
I don't
Would
know.
They ever share it with you?
I doubt it, but I wonder. I'd like to get my hands on it.
I assume you never saw the finished product.
No. Yeah.
Oh. How do you contact the Secret Service? You got to know, guy.
Well, Greg Watson, but the guy, my arresting officer, actually, he's retired now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So I'm not sure, but I mean, he's out there.
Well,
I follow him on LinkedIn.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe you could send him a message one day and be like, "Let me see that video finally." So you make this video. You know, you're being offered leniency in your sentencing. How did the case play out? What was your sentence in the end?
It ended up the range was 10 to 16 months, I think.
That's pretty good, dude.
Well, like I said, that felony I got was off my record. So like in the feds, the sentencing guidelines go by like criminal history and offense level or whatever.
Yeah.
Which like counterfeiting is pretty low on the offense level. Like it's a white collar crime, so it's pretty low. And since I didn't have much of a criminal history at all, it's like, I mean, typically, even without that cooperation, my the guidelines would have been, I think it was like 18 to 24 months.
Yep.
So it was like it just got knocked down one range or whatever from the 10 to 16. So counterfeiting, not that anyone should do it, but it's like, I see these, like, I was running around with these dudes selling heroin and, carrying guns. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'd ask them if hey, you fuck with counterfeit money or whatever. And they'd be like, oh, hell no. Like, acting like that's fucking serious. Mm-hmm. But it's like, dude, you have a kilo of heroin with an armed pistol.
With 20 years now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And it's like, people think counterfeiting's like this serious crime. And, like, you know, it is. You'll probably get caught if you do it. But it's not like the time that, you know, rap music glamorizes like murder and drug dealing, but it's like in comparison, white collar crimes aren't.
In my head, honestly, I even thought that counterfeiting's got to be like just some crazy big like 25 years in prison crime, you know?
No.
But damn, maybe all the drug dealers should quit and just start making bills.
Well, it seems like there's like a whole subgenre of like rappers now that are like the scammers.
There is. I mean? Yep, they're all credit card scammers and stuff.
It's because it's like if you don't have a criminal history and you don't have much of a record, it's like if you get caught doing that stuff, I mean, yeah, it's a slap on the wrist.
And the people get their money back through the bank anyways.
You know.
I mean, who's it really hurting?
Yeah.
You know?